What's going on, guys? Orlando Meras here. Today I'm going to talk about a sensitive topic, a pretty touchy topic, and that's depression. Now, depression can affect anybody. Statistically speaking, alone, depression affects 3 million people in the US. And that's just the US, and that's not even counting people that don't go out and seek help. And I'm going to give you 3 steps to help maybe not 100% cure your depression, but help alleviate some of the depression that you have. And the reason why I know this will work is because I've gone through depression myself not too long ago, and I've used these steps that I'm going to give you in order to help alleviate some of that depression myself. So whether you'd be, having minor depression, major depression, I know for a fact from experience that these steps are going to help you. Step number 1 is admitting it to yourself. Now, the reason why this is step number 1 is because this is the hardest thing to do. Admitting something to yourself is something that by human nature we don't like to do. We don't like to admit that we're wrong. We don't like to admit we made a mistake. We don't like to admit when we're at fault. Admitting something to ourselves is it's psychologically sort of embedded in ourselves. So that's something we don't want to do because from an aspect, we always want to be right. With me, it took me so long to admit to myself that, I have some form of depression. I kept saying to myself, oh, it's okay, this is just a slump, it's gonna pass, it's gonna get over. And, oh man, I don't know how long it went on for, and I was still telling myself, this is just a slump, nothing's wrong with you. And it kind of hit a point where, okay, this can't be just some sort of phase, this is something real. Because if it hasn't gone by now, it's got to be some form of depression. So admitting it to yourself, that is the first step. And once you get past the first step, admitting it to yourself, then comes step number 2, which again, it is hard, but it's not as hard as the first one because you've already gotten used to something. You've already gotten used to the habit of admitting. And that's admitting it to somebody else. Now, it doesn't have to be somebody, professional, like a psychiatrist, a therapist, or anybody, because I know that you can have some insecurities brought up about that. If people find out, oh, I'm seeing a therapist, they're going to think I'm weird, they're going to think something's severely wrong with me. But no, they're there for a reason. I mean, think about it. 3 million people a year in the US alone get diagnosed with depression. You're not the only one. So you don't have to be scared about seeing somebody to get the help. But to make it easier for you, admit it to a friend, admit it to a family member, admit it to somebody close to you that you know isn't going to spread it. And trust me, once you admit it to that person, whoever it may be, your mom, your best friend, your cousin, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your dog, because, dogs are just awesome. Whoever you admit it to, it's going to feel amazing. It's going to feel like, God damn, why didn't I do this a long time ago? And after you admit it to someone, you can go out, you can go seek for professional help if you need it. And step number 3, it's the easiest step. Get out there more. When you're depressed, you want to stay inside. You want to be slumped up in a ball. You don't want to be immersed in the open. You don't want to be out there. You just want to be by yourself. I don't know if you're drinking to help mask your depression, or if you're just sleeping, or if you're just watching TV, if you're eating, whatever you're doing, you gotta stop it. You gotta get out there. You gotta wipe away what's holding you back from getting out there. Because trust me, there's this thing called the law of environmental exposure. And when you get exposed to something, it is so much more different than seeing it on a picture, seeing it on a video. It's way better in person. So getting yourself out there more, it's going to help alleviate that depression. You have to trust me on this one because I have gone through it and I have done this, and it has been so exponentially well for me. So, step 1, admit it to yourself. Step 2, admit it to somebody else, and then seek help if you feel indeed necessary. And step number 3, get out there more. Put yourself out there more. If you have to force yourself, even if it's just a walk around the neighborhood, looking at the sky, Just a little pro tip as well. I learned this from Tony Robbins, so you know it's pretty legit. Don't ever look down. Looking down brings down your emotion. Always be looking up. See, right when I looked up, I started to smile. Always be looking up, metaphorically and literally. So I hope this video helped at least, even if it just helped one person. Because I know what you're going through. I've been through it. I will see you in the next one. Take care.